it, y'all. We done got out here in the middle of July down here in Mississippi, so it is sweltering. So now it's time to start doing a little bit of night fishing. So I'm sitting over here making me some bank poles, and I'll show y'all a real simple process making bank poles out of regular old bamboo, as cheap as it gets. Nothing fancy, keeping it real simple. So the first thing you're gonna need is some bamboo sticks, and it grows all over the place down here in Mississippi where I live, so it ain't no trouble to find. But you might could use some other kind of stick, but this is all I ever used. Anyway, get you some bamboo, you know, depending on how big a fish you're trying to catch. And they don't have to be real big, but you know, if you're going for like 100-pound blue cat or something, you might want to get something a little bigger than this. But anyhow, I got some about like a cane pole. Some of them's a little bigger than that, like a regular jig pole. But anyhow, get you some of them, cut them off about 10, 12 feet long. And I'll get one over here that I hadn't fixed and show you how I tie the string on there. So you're gonna need some trot line string. Like I said, whatever size fish you're going for, get the line accordingly. I'm just using regular old trot line string. I don't know what pound it is, but it's heavy enough for where I'm gonna be fishing at. I use a lighter to burn it instead of cutting it. That gets that end, don't come unfrayed. This is just old cheap kind. Like I said, I'm doing everything real cheap today. First thing I do, I don't tie it right on the very end. I come one joint back from it. I wrap it around one time, and I just do a regular old slip knot. Oh yeah, forgot to tell you, I always tie a knot in the end of it too. That kind of keeps it from slipping back through it. Put you one knot in the end of it. Then tie your regular old slip knot, just like you always would. Now I will do a double cinch on that slip knot. That's the way I do it. Tie whatever knot you think's a good knot. That's what I tie on there. And then I pull it good and tight, and I pull it back. Now again, this is just the way I do it. Do it ever how you see fit. I pull it back right before I get to that joint, because it's thinner there, and if the fish pulls it up, it'll just get tighter. So then I take that and I run it down, right on down the pole. Keep on going till you get almost to the end of it. I don't know, about 2-3 foot from the end of the pole. I burn that. Tie me another knot in the end of it. And I make this thing, I don't know what kind of knot it's technically called, but I call it a loop knot. Just put it together, put the string together like that. You can see that. And just tie a knot in it with it double. Wind up with something like that. And this one don't have to be very big, because this is where your swivel's gonna go, and it'll go over it real easy. Then I get me a swivel. Just stick that through there. Run it through your swivel. Hope y'all can see what I'm doing. And run it back over your swivel so it comes back on itself. Like that right there. I hope y'all can see that. I got that. It'll look something like this. Let me lay this down. Pull that back down over it good. All right, now you got that part. I'm gonna use some of these little clips just because I had them. They was in a old tackle box. Might as well use them. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. Just pull that back and pop that on your swivel. Run it down like that, and then you got your little snap to put your leader on. They sell them up there at Wally World. I don't even know what they call them. It's just a little snap for like trot lines and stuff. Now you got that far. Now you're gonna make your leader. And this is where I'm gonna put my weight. Now again, I'm using a bunch of old stuff that I already had laying around. So I had these old weights that I poured years ago when I was a kid. We was fishing down to Spillway. They kind of messy. So I'm just gonna use them because I got them. They ain't ideal. Most time people would use a egg sinker, but I'm just gonna use what I got. So anyhow, tie another knot in the end of the string. Make another one of them loop knots. I'm gonna try to do that up there where y'all can see it. This is that loop knot. Pull it back like that, leave. This one ain't gotta be that long either because it's just gonna hook on the end of it. But if you're putting it over a sinker or a hook, you have to make them a little longer. Just loop it around there. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm out here in the sun, I can't. Just do that number. That's all there are to it. All right, that's what I'm calling a loop knot. And you can hook that in there on your little snap. Then you come on down on your pole, about near the end of it, maybe about a foot or so. Now this is where you're gonna tie a little bit bigger loop in it, because this got it, for me, and if you was using an egg sinker, you just put your sinker on it, cut it. You'd have to cut your line first, put your sinker up on it and tie your knot in it. Since I'm using these, use that same old loop. Made me a pretty big one there, that way it'd go over the whole sinker. All right, run that over that. I got my sinker on there. I'm gonna come on down, right down about the end of the pole. I'm just gonna cut my line right there at the end of the pole, or burn it rather. Torch lighter would be handier, but I ain't got one, so we'll make do with what we got. Tie another knot there in the end of it, just a little keeper knot, and another old loop knot. Make this one kind of big too, because it's got to go over your hook, depending on how big of a hook you got. So I just make it plenty big, that way it'll work. Now these, again, I'm using some 7/0, just regular old J hooks. Again, it was in an old tackle box out in Dad's shed. Some old hooks me and him picked up when I was a kid to make trot lines with. So they ain't necessarily ideal. Most people would use a circle hook, but this will get by. And now when I make that loop knot on this is important too, I think. I make sure on my hook to run it through the front of the hook first, not coming from the back and then back over my hook. And I leave it down around the bottom of the eye. And the reason I do that is because that gives it that snail type effect. When you pull it, it pulls the hook in. You know, if it was on the back side, it would almost be pulling the hook back out. So I want it to kind of hook in when I do it. And like I said, I made this string long on here, as long as the whole pole. And the reason I done that is that way I could just wrap it around it like you would a regular old cane pole for carrying it and stuff. And just hook it here in the end of it. Now, if that's too long for where you're fishing at, you can always just roll it up on the end and tie some kind of knot to hold it up there on the end. And so you got plenty of string. Now, and if you did want to put it in a place where you want it to fish real deep, well, by golly, it's plenty long for that. Because these are about 12-foot poles that I'm making. But there you go. You got your bank pole. Bamboo, cheap as you can get it. All right, well, I appreciate y'all watching, and good luck with your bank poles, and hope you catch a lot of big fish. We get out there at night and try to beat this heat a little bit. See y'all next time.